I've always had a passion for missions. Started as a youth pastor, taking kids to Mexico, and then transitioned to family ministry and started taking families on mission trips, and just saw the amazing value of well-done short-term missions. I was in a transition period in my life and in ministry, and Helping Hands International was born. We have 4 branches of ministry. One is short-term missions around the world. We've been to almost every part of the world. Local projects in Southern Oregon, child sponsorship program in Kenya, and then disaster relief around the U.S. God has been doing amazing things through this ministry. It's hard to believe it's been 20 years already. The people we take on our trips are changed. Their lives are changed for Christ, and the people we go to minister to are also changed. We've seen countless people get saved, come to Christ, and people grow in their faith as a result of participating in our ministry, but also being recipients of what we do. You know, it's hard to quantify it. When you drill a well for a village in Kenya, in Africa, and 5,000 people literally have fresh water who never had water before, how do you quantify that, right? That down to the individual whose life has changed, they come to Christ, or they receive the keys to a new house when they had been living in a cardboard shack, literally. Or a kiddo in Kenya receives a sponsor, and they all of a sudden they get to go to school, and they have food, and they have school uniform, and they get to hear the good news of Jesus. So many different ways that lives have been touched and changed. We always partner with long-term missionaries or local churches. I'm convinced that short-term missions are most effective when you partner with a local missionary on the ground or a local church. So we always partner with local long-term people with a long-term presence. And then we go back time and time again. For example, we've been sending teams to the Baja, Mexico area, the same location for 20 years, over 20 years actually. And so we have developed a relationship that grows every time we go. And so it's been great to see. I think one of my favorite memories is taking teams to Kenya and Uganda, and there was a giant mountain. Imagine the size of Mount Mazama. It's called Mount Kadam, and it was known in the region as the Dark Mountain because it was steeped in witchcraft, and several different villages on several different plateaus. And our dream was to go and share the gospel, and so we found the Jesus film in the local native tongue of Pokot. And so we hiked the gear up to the top of the mountain, and long story short, the chief of one of the villages got saved. And in that culture, as the chief goes, so do the people. And since then, we've seen that church grow. Last I knew, it's a church of 75 strong believers, and our hope is that someday that Mount Kadam will be known as the Light Mountain, the Mountain of Light, instead of the Dark Mountain. So that's one highlight, I would say, from our years. I just would encourage everybody, step outside of your comfort zone. Serve the Lord in maybe a way that you haven't before, and you will not regret it. Maybe it's just helping out with a local project. Maybe it's going on a short-term mission or sponsoring a kiddo in Africa. Whatever it might be for you, I encourage you to take a step of faith, because it often, almost always requires a step of faith, but you will not be sorry that you did. Well, I'm really excited about the future of Helping Hands. Obviously, I'm not getting any younger, but we have a great staff, and Tim Plankenhorn specifically, who's going to be taking on more and more of the responsibility and running the ministry. He's got great vision. I still have vision. We have a fabulous board of directors. And so the future of Helping Hands looks very bright, and we're excited to see what the Lord has for us moving forward. I also want to say thank you to all of the churches and individuals who have supported us, the businesses. We could never have done this ministry without all the support. Thank you so much. God is using your generosity in powerful ways, and you are truly appreciated. So thanks again, everyone, for the last 20 years, and thank you for being here tonight. Here's to the next 20 years. We are excited and can't wait to see what God will do.